Hello everyone, and welcome to the Hunter's Fury Headhunter build video. Today I'm going to be explaining the playstyle and mechanics surrounding this build, as a lot of you guys have asked, and I'm going to explain why it's such a powerful and high damaging build. Alright, so let's jump into it. First, our primary weapons, or actually our specialization, is the firewall, as we'll be using the firewall shield as one of our primary skills, and then I will go into the other skill in a minute to talk about them. Our primary weapons are going to be two military M870s, or really any M870. I just find the military one to be the coolest looking. You want damage to target out of cover and health damage on one. The damage to target out of cover one is for dealing with ads and for dealing with bosses, whereas the health damage one is for popping heavy helmets, killing dogs, mini tanks, things like that. I found Pummel works the best because you get a massive 40% weapon damage boost for 10 seconds after 3 consecutive kills and a magazine refill. So if you're one-shotting everything, 5 rounds in your magazine should be more than enough. Mod-wise, mod for headshot damage and or accuracy / weapon handling. Another acceptable substitute would be the Quilibre. I think I pronounced that right, where you mod it for headshot damage in one mod, and then all weapon handling / reload speed on the rest. Then you've got the Regulus as your pistol. You're going to be using this for longer range attacks, as well as, well, quote-unquote longer range, as this is a pretty close-up build. But it also works really well for things like reds and purples and building your stacks. We'll talk about that in a minute when I talk about how the Headhunter talent is affected by, or how the shotguns and the Headhunter talent interact. Then we've got 4-piece Hunter's Fury, nothing special, all rolled red and headshot damage. You can roll an extra blue and still be able to one-shot with the shotguns in a 4-man legendary against a gold enemy, or a gold enemy. But I find that the extra weapon damage helps me out more. Here you've got two options. You can either use a chain killer or a Douglas and Harding chest. Either way, headshot damage, perfect, or Headhunter is going to be what you want. Now remember, you've got to hit this 150% headshot damage cap. So all of your headshot damage rolls have to be maxed, and all of your headshot damage mods need to be maxed, at least if you don't want to use a piece of Providence defense. Now, the Memento is a great backpack for this build. The reason being, you'll be playing close up, so most of the time you'll have this 5% weapon damage buff up, as well as the long-term buff up to, what, I think it's 20%, maximum 30%. So you get a maximum of 30% additional weapon damage. So yeah, that's the gear. Skills, you can run the EMP sticky to take out the mini tanks temporarily, or the dogs. I know they tend to run around and the mini tanks shoot you and gun you down really quickly. This can be a great option to immobilize them so that you can pump all your headshot or all your Headhunter into them and kill them. Decoy is great because it allows you to get close up while they target your decoy and while you position yourself against them. Foam is good for immobilizing regular ads so that you can build Headhunter stacks. Also, if you're trying to take down a high priority target such as a boss, it's great for that too. You can foam the boss in place and kill them. Those are the main ones that I would recommend using. Now,
Agent in need of backup.
So, with Headhunter, you have. We know that if you've watched my my tip of the spear build video, and you followed the builds after that, you know how Headhunter works, kind of, at least. That Headhunter doesn't scale off of your headshot damage, but rather your weapon damage. But it's a little more complex than that. After landing a headshot kill, the game does a calculation of what the bonus damage should be for the next shot based on the damage of the previous shot. Okay? If that bonus damage is higher than 1250% of your total weapon damage at the time, then it gets set to 1250% even. Now, if your total weapon damage drops before your next shot, the bonus damage amount is still locked in. This is why the second shot with the Dodge City is stronger than the first. Alright? Now, if you'll notice, if I put on a Dodge City gunslinger bolster, if I toss on some random, let's say, Vigilance backpack, and toss on Dodge City, so damage last hit 1,791,000. Okay, you know what? Fuck that. But if you test it yourself, the second shot with the Dodge City is going to hit harder than the first, if you've got Headhunter equipped. Alright? This is important for two reasons. Shotguns and the firewall shield. The bonus damage provided by the firewall shield per enemy is incredibly strong in relation to the Headhunter bonus damage. Because of that reason above, before going for a high damage shot, you want the previous shot to happen with a lot of enemies in front of the shield. Ideally, the boss shot would have a lot of enemies in front of the shield too, but the shot beforehand is the more important one, because the firewall shield has more of an effect on Headhunter than it does on your base damage. For the same reason, you want Pummel to be active already on the shot before the boss shot as well, and ideally still active during the boss shot. So that's how I one-shot the boss. If you guys remember, I procced Pummel, I had Pummel procced with the guys in front of my firewall shield. Then I went to the boss, and I had another guy as well as the boss in front of my firewall shield, and I just tapped the boss. Now we get to swapping, okay? The reason this damage calculations matters for shotguns in general is because of something you've already noticed. You might have noticed this in the videos too, which is how quickly a shotgun's Headhunter hits full after a weapon swap. Whenever you swap weapons, bonus damage from Headhunter gets recalculated. So if I set this, boom, that. If I swap from that to that, my Headhunter is already at full. So, if it's the higher, or the bonus damage from Headhunter gets recalculated. So, if it's now higher than 1250% of the total weapon damage of the new weapon, it gets lowered again to 1250% even. The reason shotguns become full Headhunter on weapons easily on weapon swap is because of how shotguns calculate their total weapon damage. It's not the total damage that shows up on the stats screen, but in fact 1/8 of that number. So 50% of the total damage is actually a very low number. When swapping after getting a kill with a sniper rifle or your pistol, it's already way over and gets sent to 50%. Then, at the time of the shot with your shotgun, that damage gets applied to each of the 8 pellets to equal a proper amount of bonus damage per shot. Okay? So basically, this was all written by my clan leader, who's done all the damage calculations. So credits to you, Swift. But basically what this means is you make a high damaging first shot, then you swap to a shotgun. It recalculates it to 1/8 of what you just hit for, I think. Alright? And that allows you to have immediate full Headhunter on your shotgun. Aside if you're shooting with an LMG or an SMG or an AR or some fully automatic weapon. That's why the Regulus on this build is really good. Because you can get one kill with the Regulus and have full Headhunter. Now, as far as it goes for animations, and I've had a lot of people complain that the disorient from the Hunter's Fury makes it harder to land headshots. I'd say it makes it easier. As long as you know the animation and know that they're going to bow their head down, then it's pretty easy. This is usually one of my go-to missions because I've played it like a million times. And I'll have a clip attached to the end of this of me one-shotting the legendary boss with a friend with no buffs or anything.
Hostile control point detected.
You're right next to the Grand Washington Hotel.
Okay, here we go. Head to the service entrance on the east side of the building. Once you're inside, find a way to the atrium.
So see now, if I swap to a shotgun, my Headhunter is already at full.
Hostile radio intercepted.
We're under attack.
Right at 4.9.
Medical assistance needed.
Full shot. It's back.
Hostile radio intercepted.
I'm heading
Now they've
upstairs
been
to the
over
hostage.
pretty
Everybody, get to the atrium.
so you can just lower your aim.
Shit. Saints here.
Now, that'll take a bit of practice.
Hyena big shot.
especially
Real
the
unpleasant.
legendary
We
ones.
need to kill this asshole.
You won't have as much time to act. Make a target acquisition. I don't know if
Serious trauma detected.
but you guys get the idea.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent vital signs.
And that's the
You're right next to the Grand
generalization
Washington Hotel.
of the build.
Okay, here we go. Head to the service entrance on the
I
east
don't
side
think
of the
there's any
building.
more I can think of. If you guys have got any questions, just ask them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer them. See you next one.
Pulse before going to that game. I just pulse. Before we go in, and then I switch back to. Oh great, it's an ambush.
Accessing server.
Oh, never
Field
mind.
terminals detected nearby.
Don't activate the first one until it gets to the Actually, because you're the rusher, maybe you go there, but you have to stay there. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Serious trouble detected.
Can't save you. This guy got behind me.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
I've got to reload. Lost another guy.
Terminal infiltrated.
Oh, wait, it's my coyote's health.
Gotta get my head
Let's maybe not just die this time.
Serious trauma completed.
Okay, I don't like this at all. I'm trying. What the hell? You can get that red behind me. I'm trying to get some reason.
High-risk target detected.
Cool, I just went insta down. The red behind me. Let's get the didn't grab a key. Let's hope it's in here. It's over here.